The calm of a moonlit evening was shattered by the sound of hurried footsteps. A lone figure moved through the cobbled streets, his breath ragged, eyes darting nervously. His life had been ordinary, once, unremarkable and dull, yet now he found himself entangled in a world that defied reason, where social hierarchies ruled and danger lurked in every gilded corner. He wasn't supposed to be here. He didn't belong, and yet fate had other plans. You woken up in this world, one built on the structured chaos of noble families, political intrigue, and enigmatic heroines. At first, it seemed like a dream, an escape from his mundane reality, but the weight of being an outsider pressed on him quickly. This wasn't his story to live. It was someone else's, meticulously crafted by unseen hands, and now he was nothing more than a minor character in the grand scheme, a mob as the world so cruelly labeled him. Was he doomed to remain in the background, a nameless figure destined for irrelevance? Or could he carve out his own path amidst the chaos? The first turning point came during a lavish ball held in the opulent halls of a sprawling castle. Nobles in ornate attire mingled beneath glittering chandeliers, their conversations rife from the shadowed barbs and veiled threats. He watched from the shadows, his plain appearance stark against their polished grandeur, yet it was here that he first locked eyes with her. A woman whose presence seemed to command the room. She wasn't like the others, though her high status suggested otherwise. Her gaze lingered on him for a moment longer than it should have, a fleeting connection that set his heart racing. Why had she noticed him, of all people? Was it pity, curiosity, or something else entirely? As days passed, their paths crossed more frequently. She, with her sharp wit and warm smile, was both a mystery and a beacon of hope in this unfamiliar world. But their growing connection wasn't without consequences. Whispers began to circulate among the elite, venomous rumors painting him as an opportunist, someone unworthy of her attention. The pressure grew unbearable, but he couldn't bring himself to walk away. For the first time, he felt seen, as if he mattered, in a world that had written him off as insignificant. The tension came to a head one fateful afternoon in the royal gardens. Amidst blooming roses and meticulously trimmed hedges, a confrontation unfolded. A group of aristocrats, their expressions cold and disdainful, cornered him. They sneered, their words dripping with contempt, questioning his very existence in their world. But before he could respond, she appeared, her presence like a tempest. With a calm yet firm voice, she defended him, dismantling their arrogance with eloquent precision. Why had she stood up for him? Was it merely kindness, or did she see something in him that he couldn't see in himself? Their bond deepened, though it came at a cost. The more they grew closer, the more perilous his life became. The intricate web of this world's politics began to unravel before him, revealing a sinister plot that threatened not just their lives, but the fragile balance of power. He stumbled upon secrets he wasn't meant to know, alliances forged in darkness, betrayals hidden behind masks of servility. Each discovery pushed him further into the spotlight he had tried so hard to avoid. Was this his role all along? To be a pawn in a game far greater than himself? Amidst the turmoil, he couldn't help but reflect on his growing feelings for her. She wasn't just a symbol of everything he lacked. She was his anchor in a storm of uncertainty. Yet their connection seemed impossible. He was no hero, no knight in shining armor. He was just a mob, a background character with no place in her world. But as he watched her fight against the constraints of her own existence, he began to wonder, could love defy the rigid roles imposed on them, or were they doomed to be torn apart by the world's merciless rules? The climax came in the form of a grand duel. A powerful noble, threatened by his presence and enraged by her defiance, challenged him. The stakes were higher than he could have imagined, not just his life but hers as well. The duel was brutal, each strike a reminder of how outmatched he was, but he refused to give up. With every ounce of strength, every memory of their shared moments, he fought back. And as the final blow landed, a deafening silence fell over the crowd. Had he won, or had he merely delayed the inevitable? The aftermath of the duel left him broken, both physically and emotionally. Yet, as he lay in the infirmary, her hand clasped tightly in his, he felt a glimmer of hope. She looked at him not with pity, but with admiration, and something deeper, something that made him believe for the first time that he could be more than what this world had dictated. But their story was far from over. The plot's twist grew darker, the stakes higher. The world they inhabited was merciless, and their love, if that's what it truly was, would be tested beyond anything they had faced so far. Could they survive the trials ahead, or would the world's rigid structure crush them both under its weight? He didn't know the answers, but as long as she was by his side, he was willing to find out.